One of the hottest reported temperatures in the Arctic has just been reported from a small Siberian town. So now that Siberian town is just north of the Arctic Circle, and it should be relatively cool, right? In fact, this is one of the coldest towns, and it's named Verkhoyansk. There's no way I said that right. And look, the highest temperatures that they normally would have there would be normally around 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So now, the latest temperature that was recorded, however, well, it wasn't 70 degrees, it wasn't 75, it wasn't 80, it was 100 degrees. 100 degrees in the Arctic Circle. That is disastrous. All right, so now, Washington Post reporter, and this is a climate reporter, Andrew Freedman, noted on Sunday that if the reading is confirmed, and there's small question about that, they want to make sure that they get this right, that it would be the northernmost 100-degree reading ever observed. And the highest temperature on record in the Arctic, a region that climate experts note is warming at more than twice the rate of the rest of the globe. And that's, of course, where you're seeing these record temperatures that pop up in the Arctic, and it has more of a jarring effect than more modest temperature increases in other parts of the world. But even though that they're modest, they do add up. 1 degree Celsius can, well, make a big difference. So now, in case you think, hey man, look, what if this is an anomaly? What if it's just one day of super weirdness, right? And that normally that does not happen in the Arctic, 100 degrees, freak of nature, right? All right, well, it'd have to be a freaky weekend because that same day, or I'm sorry, the next day, the same location recorded a high of 95 degrees. 95 on Sunday, 100 degrees on Saturday. That is not an anomaly. Now, the newspaper also reported that while some questions remain about the accuracy of the Verkhoyansk temperature measurement, data from a Saturday weather balloon launched at location supports the 100-degree reading. Temperatures in the lower atmosphere at about 5,000 feet were also unusually warm at 70 degrees or 21 degrees Celsius, a sign of extreme heat at the surface. The World Meteorological Organization said on Sunday that that is preliminarily accepting the observation as a new extreme as it conducts a more thorough review of the Verkhoyansk reading. So 100 degrees, guys, 100 degrees in the Arctic. That's not normal. That's weird. But look, it's weird has been happening a lot. And it's going to continue to get weird because of climate change. You have extreme temperatures in Siberia becoming incredibly common. And that's got a lot of people that are very worried. In fact, climate activist and conservationist Charlie Gardner says this: been watching the Siberian heat wave for months, and it's beyond terrifying. Already suffering what was expected in 2100 in a worst case scenario. So we are worst case scenario. We're already there for 2100, and it's 2020. Oops. Can we sound the alarm yet on climate change, guys? I know, like, the right loves to come at us like, oh my God, you climate alarmists, you guys. No, we haven't been ringing the alarm enough. No, we should be more alarmist. There should be protests in the streets the same way that there is Black Lives Matter. And I'm not trying to draw like an equivalence of those two things, right? Or to try to demean or dismiss Black Lives Matter at all. What I'm saying is, hey, the climate is also really important and it affects us all as well. And so it's the, continuation of our civilization that is at stake. And that is the problem. So Siberia, again, they're kind of like the canary in the coal mines at this point, right? The freak temperatures in Siberia, according to The Guardian, have been linked to wildfires, a huge oil spill, and a plague of tree-eating moths. That's just an aside there, right? But are you still not concerned about climate change, guys? I mean, I know I am, but unfortunately, the people in power aren't. Vladimir Putin, not concerned, even though half his country's on fire. Trump, same thing. President Xi of China, don't care. In fact, you don't have a lot of the major world leaders that are caring enough. At least they don't care enough to do bold action. And that's the problem. And the reason, of course, is follow the money. Here in America, where lobbyists run the government, where the government is 100% corrupted by money, you had oil and gas companies spending over $125 million on lobbying, buying politicians. That's why in America, we don't do anything about climate change. Not only that, but we have a political party that doesn't believe in facts, in science at all. They just don't. And so you have these areas where you have major problems, heat waves that are not normal, that are not of the norm, and yet they refuse to do nothing. So they refuse to do anything. And what we're talking about, by the way, is, yes, it is bold, it is transformative, right? Because we need to do that. I mean, we need to, stop the world's reliance on fossil fuels and actually go to alternative energies. But if you try to do that, well, you'll run up against that gigantic wall of money. I mean, the world runs in the petrodollar, and if you try to dismantle that, you've got entire governments after you. Not to mention, if you're actually successful, how do you replace that to truly build a world based on alternative energies? How do you do that? It's not an easy thing, but of course it's necessary. And so, because right now, tip of the iceberg, I mean, if there's any left, or will be any left, I mean, give it time. There's not going to be any ice left. And if you think that's a good thing, it's not. Less ice equals more water, because that's what ice is. That means higher oceans, more flooding, stronger, more long-lasting storms. Because guess what? Hurricanes get their energy from warm water. They move over warm water. They gather strength. When they hit land, more water, of course, equals more stronger storms, more warm water. So, and of course, with ocean warming, because of climate change, very bad. Let's just say that it's not going to be a vacation. It's going to be an absolute disaster. And I'm just going to read a quote here from environmentalist and 350.org co-founder Bill McKibben, who saw this news and just has 3 words. This scares me. Well, it should scare all of us. And if you're paying attention, if you have been paying attention to the heat waves in Siberia and other places, and what we're continuing to do with the climate, well, you would be scared too. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.